What is up? Full interview. Suge Knight exposes everyone. Airs out Snoop Dogg. Deion Sanders. Oh my God. Deion Sanders and talks Jay-Z, Kanye West, and more. Hey, I don't know what we're gonna do, man. This is a 3-hour video. Shoot, I'm gonna let y'all know now. Uncle Mike can't do no 3 hours. I done changed the camera a little bit, so I can't wait till this sucker hit I done changed the camera, even though it's tilted just a teeny bit, man. Hold up. Before we start, just a teeny bit. Right there. Just a teeny bit. Well, now it's a teeny bit more. But anyway, I changed the camera just a slight. I'm trying to, yeah. I need a new lens, man. This lens, I like this wide lens, but the step down ain't enough. But anyway, y'all hit that subscribe button. I think it stepped down one more. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy. Yeah. I had to find my mouse, y'all. Here we go. Disclaimer. I'm ready for this one. Got my beers. I got my camera right.
Cool, let's get it. All right, Suge, I'm recording. So I want to ask you, right? Deion and MC Hammer. I know you had a working relationship with both of them. If you don't mind, can you give me the backstory behind that? Like, how did that come about?
You know, Prime always been a good dude. We liked old Deion. So, you know, Deion used to have like these basketball games for the celebrity basketball games, and I fly my guys out, put them up in the hotel, and let them participate in this event. So, Deion wanted to be a rapper. So, all right. He said, man, I want to do an album. I said, well, you don't need to do no gangster shit. You know, you Prime, you're an NFL star. We can build it around that. So I got the writers together, got the track together, got Dallas Austin, did a lot of stuff on him. I flew guys to Atlanta because he was living in Atlanta at the time, and put him up in hotels for like 2 or 3 months straight, you know. Order room service, much as they want. Whatever they wanted, I paid for it. It supposed to be because of Deion's album.
Right.
Deion had an agent named Gene, a real good dude. He said, look, man, you pay for everything. And, you know, he keeping up the track with how much I spent so far. And I spent probably like $450,000, right? He said, but Deion, you know, got deals with Nike. And we don't know that'll be it's not corporate for Deion to come out on death row. At this time, I already got $450,000 in and all the work done. One of the songs we did is Must Be the Money, the one they was playing on that Gacko with the fucking, you know, the little commercial.
The lizard.
So, nevertheless, I said, well, look, Death Row too powerful and too dirty for Deion. I mean, as long as I make my bread and make my bread back, I'll take the Death Row logo off and we can just put it out on Interscope. Because when it came to anything dealing with hip-hop or black, that was my position at Interscope just as well as it is with Death Row. I had to say so. So I grabbed Jimmy and all these guys, and we had all these meetings, and we finished the album up. Later on, a few things started happening. I guess Deion was going through some things, and I never got my bread back. And then, you know, and we was all in. I was all in. Taking private planes and let Deion perform in clubs and little small places to perform at, you know, promoting it. Matter of fact, Deion wanted some things done I'd rather not say, but it wasn't across the board. With the guys he wanted to do things for him, they ended up going to jail and getting a little time, and I had to pay for all that. So that raised the bill up on that.
Damn.
And Deion never paid me back. I know recently he went on somebody's show and said that he paid me back. Where and when and where's the check? Then he called Nick and a few people directly and said, hey, I paid him. Okay, where and when, where's the check? Still haven't got my money back. So, oh, by the way, I can use my shit, Deion. But at the same time, we was all really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, you know, I remember one time that Deion had a game.
Mm-hmm.
The Dallas Cowboys were playing the 49ers. So we called up the private plane, took my pops, 3 of my uncles, 3 of my homies, and off to the game we went. After the game, Deion stayed over, and we all went to Hammer's house. That's when Hammer had built that big house on top of the ghetto. And it was at the bottom was like the project, and Hammer went up the hill. It was a nice mansion up there. So we go to Hammer's house, and Deion there. We all there. And the crazy thing about it, he would just say, later on, they try to say Deion on the sweet side. I said, not Deion, not Prime, you know. And then if people started connecting the dots later on, saying, well, Tracy Edmonds only married guys in the industry. They go both ways to trying to cover something up. I still didn't bite, you know. And they said that today. And this was after the fact I seen what I seen. But at the end of the day, Tracy was married to Babyface. And everybody know Babyface, Damian Thomas, and all those dudes been lovers.
Damn.
Everybody know that, according to everybody who speaks, Eddie Murphy situation.
Damn.
His lovers are getting caught with trannies. Everybody then, she was with both of them. Then she was with Deion. Everybody said, man, did you guys know? We said, no, we just knew this. Hammer had this house, but he also had an indoors pool. You know, if you're going to put a swimming pool inside your house, you just can't put a pool inside the house and don't make the house available to have an inside pool. So we in Hammer House, your eyes burning because
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
The chlorine in the water.
the house was smelling like chlorine.
Yeah.
So, you know, my pops said, hey, man, I got to go, man. We're going to get a cab or something, go back to the hotel. My eyes burning, all this chlorine. I said, yeah, it's strong as a motherfucker, but if you go, we all go. You don't got to get a cab. I'm going to tell, you know, Hammer and Deion and them and everybody, we out of here.
Yeah.
So we went to go to the room, and Hammer had this little room like you can get massages, like a little gym. Our stupid ass did not knock. And we pretty much got our eyes busted a little bit, you know. Wish I can take that one back.
God,
I'm not going to sit there and be lying and saying, you know, we watched a porno, but it sure seemed like it was a porno. You know, one person was getting a massage, and the other person was getting a massage was giving look like it was a body massage. So we shot out of there, you know, and never spoke about it. But you know, certain things shouldn't be discussed because you know.
Wow.
I love both of those dudes. All the love in the world for them, you know.
Wow.
I don't even know why this spoke a little bit of the truth, but I'm gonna really back in a little bit, you know, because I really cherish the people I do know. I really do understand that words are powerful. Sometimes the truth is stronger than anything.
Always.
And I often like to try to change my ways of, I still believe in standing on the truth, but I'm not really trying to smother nobody with the truth either. Because I always say, you can say some good news about somebody, it barely makes it down the street. You say some not considered good news or bad news about a motherfucker, it'll make it around the world, not down the street. It'll make it around the world 10 times. before good news make it down the street. So that's been said. It goes without saying. That's the situation. Just like the song Must Be the Money. When it was time to make one of the songs for Deion, you know, once again, when people think they're in the studio with Death Row, they around the Death Row people, everybody want to shoot a motherfucker. Everybody want to beat a motherfucker. Everybody want to, and it's crazy because even though Deion curse, he stays saying bullshit, he wants to say, but he want gangster. And we like, nah, man, you can't be gangster, you know. So everybody was like, talk about stuff like, and people see, when you do music, it's supposed to be believable. So even if you don't shoot people, even if you don't rob nobody, but an artist, a rapper can be a great actor and you believe what they're talking about. You can have an ugly bitch say she pretty. In reality, ugly is a motherfucker. But if she got confidence with it, you believe she pretty. And if a guy a square dude and he acting like he a gangster, you'll believe it. So when it came to Deion, we was like, let's give you something believable. Like, you got money. You Deion Sanders. So therefore, it must be the money. That's how that song came about. And everything was done specifically for him. And if they would have dropped it, when I say drop it, it would have shut everything down. Because Prime was in his prime. And that's a great song. Still today, when you think about it, people came and bit that hook, but we did that hook for Deion a long time ago. By the way, Deion, you getting the publishing off of it and the commercials off of it. I ain't a tight end. Should I get my bread back though or what? But you know, Deion is a good dude, man. I ain't gonna say nothing bad about him. Hammer, we go way back.
Like car seats and spinal cords.
Me and Louis Burrell, which is Hammer's brother, we call him Barbecue. We always been great friends, you know, been on tour together when I was out there with Al Heyman. And I was watching BET. And Hammer was on there. And I didn't see Hammer, you know, anybody that really know Hammer don't go nowhere without his pieces, his watch, his chain. And I didn't see those pieces on him. So immediately I felt that something was wrong, so I got on the horn and told Hammer I need to holler at him. I could get him out to L.A. So I flew him and the homie Wee Wee out. And the minute he got there, he told me what was going on. So I took Hammer. We went and got his jury back.
Damn.
Got his cards back. Gave some bread.
Damn.
Got him a high rise. He bought a Rolls. He bought a Hummer. And we started getting it in, you know. And, you know, introduced him to everybody. He know everybody, but not on the one-on-one page. Like, we're going to be doing some work together. We're going to do an album for him. The first person I talked to about it was Pac. And Pac had always been outspoken. So Pac wasn't on board at first. He was like, nah, man, Hammer can't come to Death Row, and, you know, his style of music ain't our style of music. If he going to do his style of music, he got to stick to dancing. Because, you know, Hammer was on some gangster shit. And Pac didn't like that. And I was like, but, you know, this Hammer, we got to at least get him a shot. So I told Pac that I wanted him to do a song for Hammer. So usually when we get a song done for someone, I can Pac the writer, he'll go in and do the vocals. I'll put it on a CD or cassette, and they'll listen to it for a week or two till they learn it and perform it exactly like the person wrote it. So the first song we did for Hammer, at least one of the first songs, it was a song called Unconditional Love. The reason why Pac picked that song, because he was like, well, Hammer ain't gangster, Hammer ain't street, so Hammer been married all this time. He said, even though I never met his wife or nothing like that, but he knew Hammer was married. So he did a song called Unconditional Love. that song supposed to came out on Hammer, but when I went to prison, they put it out on for Tupac. Tupac would have been mad as a motherfucker because he did that song specifically just for Hammer. So that's how it started, you know. And we did a lot more songs for Hammer. We finished the album up for Hammer. But unfortunately, when I got locked up, and then Hammer had came through and took all the songs we did for him, all the reels and the masters and stuff, and took them. Everybody was hot about it, but I was like, Hammer's still my brother, you know. Everybody want to deal with it a certain way, and you can't treat your brother the way you treat someone else in the streets. As a matter of fact, Eric B. wanted to do a project, and Hammer had some songs from Tupac that he stole out the studio. That wasn't Tupac's song, but it was Pac vocals. Eric B. was like, man, I'm going to do this project. I want to use those songs. Hammer was like, nah, I ain't fucking with you. And recently, not recently, but a while back, somebody called me and was like, hey, I got these Tupac songs because I bought Hammer storage. He owed $100 and he didn't pay it, so I got them. I said, well, you can't use them. That's considered stolen property, you know. However, that's how that went. At the same time, you know, Hammer's still Hammer. That's our brother, but Hammer's relationship with a lot of people might be shaky. I'm always going to have love for him. I know him and Pac weren't the best of friends, you know, but they had respect for each other, you know. And I know Hammer did a few speaking engagements and said that Pac used to call him Uncle Hammer. And Pac ain't never called him Uncle. And no.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Uncle Hammer.
You know, Pac wore his heart in his fist. You know, he hit with that motherfucker. So Pac told her how he felt it was. And him and Hammer went tight to be where he was calling him Uncle or all those type of things. Pac was more about the rah-rah, you know? And him and Hammer, they wasn't close like that. But shit, we took a trip. It was my birthday. So my B-Day one year, you know, I ordered a plane, and everybody supposed to took somebody. It was a couples event, basically. You know, if you wasn't married, grab your bitch, you know. So we flew to Belize. When we get to Belize, the first night, a friend of mine owned a hotel. He closed it down, and we went wild pig hunting at night. We lived in the jungle, and everybody had different rooms. Then we went to the city. Then we went to the island. Each place we went to, we all had, you know, make sure everybody have a big suite. Big living room, big bedroom. Everybody was couples. Even the homies had couples. Everybody had somebody. Neckbone and Rage was together, and so on and so on. And 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗡𝗏 was there. I remember one time we coming in and we looking for our bitches, and they was all in the room with 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗏 having one of those waiting to exhale moments. 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗏 was preaching to them, saying, hey, if y'all gonna have sex, here go condoms. Everybody gotta make sure they don't run out of condoms because practice safe sex, they might have something. I was like, man, fuck this bitch. I tell my bitch, if you gonna listen to this bitch, you might as well sleep on the floor. I get a new bitch. I ain't going for that. And everybody started clowning and laughing. That's why everybody thought it was so funny when 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗏 tried to say she was pregnant about Tupac when they never had unprotected sex. But that's another story at a different time. But anyway, everybody had somebody except for Hammer and Snoop. I don't know why he didn't bring Shantae and Hammer didn't bring his wife, and Pac was clowning them because they'd be in the same bed. Like, we'd be partying all night, doing all the crazy shit, and when it was time to take it in, everybody grabbed their bitch and got in their room. We'd wake up in the morning, waking everybody up, and sometimes we'd go by their room, and Hammer and Snoop would be in the bed asleep. And Pac would be like, man, Why you eating in your room? Or why you not sleeping on the couch? Why y'all both laying on the bed? Damn, they're like, man, ain't nothing wrong with that. Fuck, you crazy. And we said, oh, laugh and joke about that. It was a big thing. It's just all funny games of the family,
Suge, I want to ask you about Tupac joining Death Row. Who's really the reason behind Tupac joining Death Row?
Well, it definitely was not Snoop. Period. It was Keisha. I don't know Keisha's last name, but it was Keisha. And Keisha's the one that saved Tupac's life. Reason why I say that, because that woman would call my office every fucking day.
Damn.
I'm Tupac's wife. I need to talk to Suge Knight. I'm Tupac's wife. I need to talk to Mr. Knight. And everybody would laugh and make fun of it. So when I walk in the office, I see all these motherfuckers laughing. What's up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this stupid bitch saying she Tupac's wife. And I said, whoa, hold on. You trying to tell me somebody calling for Tupac saying they his wife and y'all think it's funny? So I tell you what, the next time she call and y'all don't get me on the phone, I'm fired, motherfuckers. So she called and she was like, Tupac said, you the one person can help him. He needs you to come sing. I'm his wife. We got married. So I said, well, look, before I say anything, give me a little time to get in front of a lawyer and call me. And we'll talk. She called. I gave her my cell number. She called me. I'm talking to the lawyer. I'm on house arrest. I'm on house arrest, by the way, with an anchor bracelet on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking, could he get me in there to see Tupac, like we normally do, which is David Kenner. He said, yeah. He said, but if they catch your anchor bracelet, you going to jail. I said, that's a chance I got to take. So it was all Keisha. But I did have a conversation with Snoop, but you got to realize one thing. Snoop was a little brother, too. I said, hey, I'm going to visit Tupac. After I visit Tupac, and I decided to get Tupac out and put him on death row, I told everybody, I'm going to put Tupac on death row. Everybody was cool with that. So it wasn't no bad blood or no weirdo shit. It was all Keisha. But the crazy thing about it, David Kenner was only lawyer willing to take a risk. When I went to go see fucking Mike in prison, shit, David Kenner gave me a fake ID and got me in there. When he was go see Mike in prison, there was a guy named Dre, that him and Andre was good friends. They used to take him to go visit Mike in with a birth certificate, like say he was 15, 17 years old, and the motherfucker was damn near 30. So we did things that help our people. And I said this before, shit, I saved Andre's life. When Mike set up a lick for the other Dre, along with Andre, to go rob these Mexican dudes and steal their cocaine, I told Andre, don't do it. He said, man, the only thing I got to do is carry the money. He going to rob them, he going to carry the drugs. I said, you run in there with those, some real Southsiders, there's going to be some dead motherfuckers. He said, I'm not going inside. I'm just going to wait outside and carry the money. The other Dre going that motherfucker, they knock his ass down. Dre called me panicking. I hear gunshots. What do I do? He could drive around the corner, some motherfucker would keep driving, I'll meet you. I had to go meet his scary ass and say, follow me all the way back.
Damn.
I said, the police could have came and caught him from trying to rob somebody. They'd have gave you the body, idiot. So a lot of things we did was to help each other. And we had a tight bond. So Keisha was the one contact me with Tupac. It was not to come on death row. And I'm going to say this. A lot of people talk about Tupac who never met the man, never did business with the man. Or they might have had a conversation but they weren't friends with the man. Let's not put Tupac's name in vain. Tupac still today, the best of all times. And he did sacrifice a lot. And all the motherfuckers who participated in his downfall, I'm not going to be the asshole that I used to be and put that recorder out there, Snoop. I'm not going to be like everybody else. I got this. I'm going to play it. I'm not playing shit. You know what you said. I know what you said. You said it. And if I was really a fucked up motherfucker and played that, there'll be three things you can do. Go hang with Russell Simmons somewhere. I hope you're going to pick that one. I don't want you to go out backwards. You know, sleeping in the same bed. Kill yourself. Definitely wouldn't want you to do that one. Still got love for you. Or end up in this motherfucker where you definitely have to come holler. I don't want that. We spent too much money and worked too hard to make sure you didn't go to prison last time for life. But I will say this. I'm on some positive shit. Shout out to Snoop. Shout out to everyone in the industry. And let's get better. I'm Suge Knight. I'm out.
But before you go, of course, you can't play the audio, but can you tell us what was said?
Well, if I tell you what's on the recording, it's like playing that recording. And if I do that, I'll be putting handcuffs on Snoop.
Damn.
Now, I like dealing with you and having a conversation with you.
Damn.
But even as this guy supposed to be an enemy of mine, I still would not and will not send him to prison or want to see him in prison. That's basically how that goes. So I couldn't tell you what all he said, but it's incriminating. It's regarding Tupac. He the only one knows the reason why Tupac's dead, more than me. And I was in the car with him.
Just curious, right? When Tupac came to Death Row, who was affected by that? Like, who albums was pushed back?
Everybody's. Tupac he cut the line. Everybody else is in line, lining up to come next. Tupac came and went front of the line. Not only did he go to the front of the line, he sucked all the starness out of every artist we had on Death Row. There used to be a time that we went somewhere, people were like, there go Andre. They wanted an autograph. There go Snoop. They wanted an autograph. The Dogg Pound. Danny Boy. Joel, every fucking body. When Tupac came,
damn, it was all about Tupac.
We do events. Regardless if it was a Mother's Day brunch, regardless if it was a concert, after the concert, at a club, at a school, at a hospital. No matter who was there, who all got the limelight and the star quality of the reaction of the people, that changed. Once Tupac walks in, it's over. Tupac was so fucking famous. I remember taking Tupac to an R. Kelly concert. And this R. Kelly in his prime, before the little kids. And I walked Tupac to the front of the stage. One of those motherfuckers shined the light. And when the fans seen Tupac was there, they was rushing him. I had to get him out of the arena. Once I got him out of there, seemed like half of the concert left when Tupac left. At least pretty much all the bitches.
Wow.
So his light was so bright, I never seen nothing like it in my life. So I understand.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Damn.
Tupac and the other artists on Death Row, it turned to jealousy, and from jealousy to hate. So majority of the people clapped on death row when Tupac passed away. They didn't have that problem of him taking their shine no more. That's why we all talked about it. Not one person wants to do a tribute record to Tupac.
Damn, young. That got to be some facts, baby. That got to be some facts, man. They ain't none of the Death Row family. They ain't do no tribute type album. Suge said they clapped. And, you know, I mean, that's just a figure of speech. Tupac dead. You know, you got to play. That's my homie. Damn, young.
That's why when everybody want to say that they knew Tupac and that was their homie, when Tupac got a star, name me one person from Death Row was there. I'm talking about the real Death Row, because some people wasn't really the real Death Row, and you know what that means. But Andre wasn't there, Snoop wasn't there, Gas wasn't there. We can go on. But why not? Why at the same time, I loved how they did paid homage to Biggie. They did a song, Missing You.
Well,
they
that's
performed
Puffy.
that song, Missing You.
That's Puffy, man.
Name one song they did for Tupac. Now, when they need some attention, they'll speak on his name in vain. So,
Damn,
therefore,
man.
instead of America's Most Wanted, Tupac was Death Row Most Hated. That's why when people go and says Tupac wanted to leave Death Row, that's not true. Tupac did want to shake the people on Death Row. He told me 1,000 times, even in my limo, look, you my manager. Let's do these movies. Let's do this, let's do that. I was going to take him on tour with nothing but bitches.
Now, I done heard from some reliable sources that Tupac was planning on leaving Death Row. Biggie was planning on leaving Bad Boy. I done heard from some reliable sources that they both was talking about this. And Suge said to Tupac, you still owe me an album, even though Tupac did that double album, thinking that that was two, you know, we had a 3-album deal and one of them was a double. So that's two. So now I'm done. Nah, man, that's one album. You owe me one more. Something like that. And he was ready to leave because of all this stuff that was going on. You know, everybody was leaving Suge. Dr. Dre left, Snoop left. Everybody was leaving, man. Why not Tupac? He was the only one going to stay? I don't understand. I don't get that. But that's the only thing that I think that it can go 50-50. I'm not saying that Suge's straight up lying, and I ain't saying that the other people straight up lying. But that's still 50-50 in the air. Was he going to plan on leaving or not?
And out chocolate tubes in the audience. At the same time, when Tupac did his first movie, he couldn't do the movie because there wasn't no insurance company carrying it. We all know who put the $5 million before he was able to do that movie. Tupac is a great man. Still a great man.
Oh my goodness, dog.
And if Tupac was here, that'd be the one person from line for me to get out of prison. Right now, seems like no one cares. Like jealousy that took over. And the slave masters got niggas back being slaves. You even got a black slave master dressing like the slave masters. Enough said.
What was Pac's issue with Jay?
Well, the issue Pac had with Jay was this. Jay and Biggie was friends. That's as far as I knew. I never knew that Jay did something to Pac personally. I never knew that Nas did something to Pac personally. I knew that Pac and Biggie was really good friends. They was like brothers. So they knew each other. Matter of fact, I said this before. I know when Pac first came home, I had him at a penthouse at the Peninsula Hotel. I heard him talking to Biggie on the phone, and Pac had him on speaker. When that conversation was taking place, it wasn't like enemies arguing and fussing with each other.
Right.
It wasn't like they hated each other. By the look of Pac's face and the way Biggie sound, it seemed like brothers had a disagreement, but they was hurt by what they did to each other.
Yeah.
I heard Pac tell Biggie, you know, the bitch didn't want to fuck with you. I made the bitch fuck with you, or I wasn't going to fuck with her or her friend. And Biggie would be like, yeah. And, you know, it was like a grown man conversation.
Right.
And you know me, after hearing that conversation, I was on some shit like, one day we can do an album, both of those guys together, a 4 CDs album, you know, and tours. And I know when it came to Jay, Pac didn't like the fact that Jay-Z was friends with Biggie. I know that it wasn't personal with him. And it's not like he hated Jay, and when he seen Jay, he wanted to cut his throat or something. And I feel that I don't think Jay had hatred for Tupac like that either. Because when Jay wanted to do Me and My Girlfriend over with him and Beyonce, no problem at all. Do whatever you like. Beyonce is the all-time greatest of a black woman. Her mother, Tina, is one of the best women around. And I like Jay-Z. Jay's a businessman. One thing I really want to say is that I had conversations with Kanye before, even recently. I need to holler at Kanye. I don't want to go by what other people say, what the media say. I want to hear from him. We never disrespect no one kids. We never
got that right.
Put anyone down. That's the kids.
Facts.
And what I mean by that, most people probably don't have the nuts to say it. I don't got nothing else. I got my nuts. You don't talk about Jay, Beyonce's children, or their son, whoever. You call them retarded. That's what we won't do. It's real consequences for those type of actions.
That's crazy.
I put the people in the hip-hop, people in our community, on a higher standard.
I think that, to be honest, Kanye, you know, and I'm not wishing no bad on anybody, but imagine Jay-Z fans will retaliate. That's all I'm going to say. Imagine that. And then all of a sudden, the whole Jay-Z clique is being investigated because Kanye is in rest in peace mode.
We came a long way as black people, as slaves.
Damn, man.
Not to attack people's kids or somebody is disabled. That's not funny to me. Not one bit. I love all kids. And I love hip-hop. And I love the culture of our people. I'm trying to prove my ways and myself. I would hate for us to have to go backwards. That's basically what it is, you know. He's a bitch. And I look at it like this. What Beyonce does for hip-hop and the community of our people, that woman works really, really hard. I mean, her sister, their whole family is good people. There's only one time that Tina got mad at me, and Shalon told me that. So I remember going to a Beyonce concert. You know, I'm in the back, I'm walking around, and they came and filmed me walking. No big deal. That's Beyonce. So once we was in the back, they sent some guy with them to get me to sign off on it, saying they can use the footage. As I got ready to sign it, one of my really good friends, Wes, who works with Al Heyman, Big West, grabbed the paper, balled it up, and told the dude he was going to beat his ass and chased him out of there. So I said, man, what you do that for? Fuck him. I said, nah, man, say fuck him on your time. And next thing I know, I seen Salon, and she goes,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I'm like, oh, shit. Who I done said something about now? She said, no, you didn't say nothing about the thing. I said, look, that wasn't me. I said, I ain't going to snitch on nobody, but shit, you should know that ain't me. And we laughed about it. But what Beyonce accomplished and the balls she has to fight hard for the culture of our people says a lot. She one of the hardest working people that ever been in that business. Then Jay accomplished a lot. Jay got bars. He works hard. But for Kanye to say something about a child, he need an old-fashioned ass whooping.
You and Master P, what was the situation between both of y'all? I know Master P, he said in the interview that you called him telling him that Kelly wasn't big enough for him and Puffy, and he replied back to you asking you when you was moving?
Yeah, so this what happened. Number one, P couldn't tell me that I gotta leave. Look, I'm born and raised out here. And I'm from the east side of Compton, number one. I've been from there from day one. I've been there so long that I didn't have to let nobody whoop my ass and say I was from Compton. I was already from Compton at the beginning of it. Poor as P, I got family from everywhere. I'm a real West Coast motherfucker. If I would say that P wanted to have problems with me, I don't think P would be able to walk outside. Number one, let's remember one thing. P, you started in New Orleans. They basically ran you out of New Orleans. You went to Texas. Basically got ran out of there. You went to the Bay. Once you get on the West Coast, shit get real on the Bay. You was out there with your brother. They air his ass out and lay him down. Not only did you not revenge him, you moved out here. When you got out here, the motherfuckers you hang with wasn't tough motherfuckers. You took a person, you lied and said you came to visit me in prison, which you never did. You said you got Snoop for me, which you never did. I sold Snoop bitch ass to Priority Records and Brian Turner, giving the rights and loan to you. You had your whole crew. When Snoop got embarrassed, you did nothing. everything you do is behind someone else.
Damn.
So,
Oops.
only thing is, I put it to you like this. This idiot never sold records. I'm in prison. Before I left prison, I was in prison all through the 90s and 2000s and that shit, right? And you walk on the yard and you hear people having their own ghetto blasters. This table, that table. People working out, people walking. And you hear death row music. All day long.
In the paint.
I ain't never really heard nobody bumping no limit music. If you go to on your podcast right now, you can go and say anybody who can bring me a Chronic CD, Doggy Down CD, All Eyes on Me, Dog Pound, anything, I give you $1,000. Motherfuckers will come bring those CDs in. After all this time, if you go and say, bring me a No Limit CD, Mimi X, whatever her name is, this person, that person, it won't be many. This old country bunking ass nigga was buying his own motherfucking music.
Yep.
So what that tell you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And for each and anything, anything to be said, enough been said. How is a grown, everything he took from someone else. You tried to make your company behind Death Row. You tried to act like Death Row. I'm the nigga that started the Death Row change. You want to start a No Limit change.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Ray's, that's the home girl. Ray's the first one said, let's get on her verses. Now, Ray's down as a motherfucker. And I don't know why Ray said, but she might have been saying because she might have been thinking about getting fucked. No disrespect to Ray. I love Ray. But P, you took Ray saying and said, no, right? So maybe P thought either he thought it would be him getting fucked or he got a shit. Whatever it was, that's something you stole from a bitch. Bitch.
Damn.
You know? So
Damn.
anything outside of telling the truth is bullshit. No more, no less. The C murder dude, yeah, shouts out to murder. Because at the end of the day, he's doing time. And hopefully he can get his freedom back. But at the same time, P and them took unreleased Tupac song that has one of those dudes stole or security let him steal it. Shouts out to Top Notch Security. And gave that song, P and them got a hold of it. The murder dude did a song in his own voice of the whole lyrics was Tupac's. How disrespect is that? You know, this, come on, P. Ain't no need to bullshit. You kiss ass, got your son a scholarship on another nigga's back at UFC for free. Never got in the game. Not only that, everybody want to say all these negative things about me. You got your own brother. Hopefully he's not still working there, working at a gym. This is unheard of anybody want to have something to say when I'm in prison. I don't want to have nothing negative to say about no one, even though I just kick some facts.
Facts.
But, P, cut the bullshit out. Every drug dealer want to be famous. Still a drug dealer.
I always heard this rumor that Tupac, he was supposed to go to Atlanta instead of Vegas, but she was begging him to go. Is there any truth to that?
No truth to that. Only time that he wanted to go to Atlanta, and we was planning on going to Atlanta after Vegas, because he got a relative, a real family member. And Pac hated this dude. He said they used to steal from him, do him dirty when he was young because they was older than him. And he stated that the guy stole all his guns. Tupac had guns out there in Atlanta. He said the guy stole them, and he wanted to go out there and beat the shit out of him with his motherfucking ass. He said, look, man, I'm going to Atlanta, fuck the dude up. I need you to come with me. I just said, what's up? He tell me, he's like I just told you, he said, man, my relative stole all my guns.
Damn.
From his mother's house or whatever. And sold them, right? Because he was a dope team or not. So I said, look.
Damn, man.
You know I'm going to go with you.
This is crazy.
When we go out there, and you get on this dude, and we get on this dude, it's going to be all bad. So that's not fair if you don't want it. He said, man, you know I want it. He said, right after the fight, we're going to go out there and whoop his ass. And one thing about Pac, if anybody ever knew anything about Pac, Pac gonna say what the fuck he want to say and how he feels. He spoke from his heart. I feel I do the same thing. I never forget at the Mother's Day dinner, Pac was on stage, and before he performed Dear Mama, his mother sitting right in the audience. Pac looks over and says, Danny boy lost his mother. My mother did too. So Pac, not a guy who bites his tongue. And I don't know what he meant by that. I ain't never asked him. But his footage of that. So Pac never been the guy who bullshit. He was going after the fight and wanted me to go with him to beat Israeli's ass. That's the bottom line.
I got a crick
so
in my
he was
neck.
going to Atlanta, but he was going after the fight.
Yeah, I mean,
fuck, man.
Pac wouldn't have missed a Mike Tyson fight for no motherfucking body. We love Tyson. We always gonna support Tyson. But we was going to beat this motherfucking ass of Israeli after the fight. You know, we was gonna push out there. You know, Pac is loyal, truthful, and he gonna keep that shit gangster. Period.
And it was over Pac cousin selling his guns, right?
Not because he did. He stole Tupac guns from his mother's house and sold them. And it was an ongoing thing. Pac was like pretty much the black sheep out of his family.
Damn.
He didn't get along with a lot of people in his family. So as he got older, he became to his own man as Tupac. And handled his business as Tupac. So that's just that. I mean, a lot of people say a lot of things too. Still today, people tell stories that regarding Death Row or Tupac or me. That's their soul. Just to tell the truth. And even when it came to the fact that everybody want to say that I'm lying, that Snoop was there with Tupac in the hospital, put it to you like this.
Wait a minute. Hold, wait a minute. God dang it. I ain't hear that part. I'm listening, though.
Everybody want to say that I'm lying, that Snoop was there with Tupac in the hospital. Put it to you like this. Bless his soul. If he make it to heaven, he had a conversation with Pac when that time comes. But I would say this. If Snoop and Pac was really tight and brothers like that, the minute he heard about the shooting, the minute he heard that Pac was in the hospital, he should have been there. I had to call and get on his ass and make him come there. And it took damn near a week for him to get there.
Damn.
I don't know no one.
Damn.
I know if it was the other way around and Snoop got shot and he was in the hospital, Pac would have been by his bedside time he came out of surgery, even though he was mad at him. He'd have been like, I'm glad you came out of surgery. You know I'm mad at you. And I'm going to go get on the motherfuckers who did this to you.
Damn.
In the discussion.
Damn.
So it's not trying to make Snoop look bad. It's not trying to make anybody else seem like liars. It's just the idea of don't lie. Pac not here to tell the truth. So I'm not going to let you lie on the man's name. But that's neither here or there. Because Pac in a better place and moved on. We stuck in hell right now. And Malik is the one that's hurting real bad. So let's do something for Malik.
All right, Suge, before I bring Malik Lee in, let the people know a little bit about him.
Man, first of all, Malik deserves his cigars. Malik was a day one motherfucker with Death Row. When I started Death Row early on, Malik was there. Not right at the beginning, but like right there at the beginning. A lot of other motherfuckers have stories that they got to tell what they heard from someone else. Malik was there. And Malik was the guy who did security for Snoop. If it weren't for Malik, we never would have had Doggy Style. Because when Snoop caught the murder case and shot that dude, shit, we only had one song done. So by Malik taking a rap and claiming something he didn't do for me, for Snoop, for Death Row, that got Snoop his freedom.
Damn.
If it weren't for that, it would have been no Dog Pound album. It would have been no All Eyes on Me album. I don't even think I would have been able to get Tupac out of prison if it weren't for Malik.
So what Suge is saying, basically, without saying it, is whatever. I remember when Snoop was going through this long court case and stuff, and Snoop looked like a puppy. Let's just call it like that. He looked like a lost puppy. Fear of the world. He just was quiet, laid back. And this dude, Malik, must have took the rap for it, even though he didn't do the pow-powing. So that's what it seemed like to me. I'm checking this out for the second time, this part right here, because we did a reaction to it and everything, and Uncle Mike is learning all this. But it's something about it, a gangster. Keep it gangster, dog. Keep these people that's doing business, like a Ray J and all these other crazy people. The real gangsters, once they start making some money, the real gangsters, they end up in jail because they gangster. They can't leave that life alone. But these business people that decide, like Charleston White, say, man, you know what? I'm gonna put on a bunch of chains and make this character. I'm a street dude. I ain't scared of these youngins, and I'll fight them if I have to on camera because this is my character. Suge Knight is a real gangster, but he didn't want to be a gangster. He wanted to be a business person. Tupac ain't no gangster, but everybody think he is. He's an actor. Tupac ain't no gangster, man. He was never a gangster, but he acted like a gangster, spitting on cameramen and all this stuff, writing and talking about thug life and everything. He took ballet. Everybody know that. Y'all look that stuff up. He took ballet. He was with Digital Underground as a dancer, backup dancer. He was dancing. He knew all the steps and stuff. Gangsters don't dance. All that type of stuff, man. So, Snoop, back to Snoop. Yo, man, Snoop, he playing the part and everything and keep on playing it. He ain't trying to do no time and do no jail stuff. He learned the game, and Dr. Dre too. Dr. Dre hooked up with I'm big time Dr. Dre. I'm gonna hook up with this white boy Eminem, and we're gonna put some work in. Eminem went and hustled and got 50 Cent. And these people, look, you want to be a thug, go ahead and be a thug. If you want to make some business and make some long-term money, come on and see what we got to do. Yeah. So there's a difference, and I'm learning one more thing before I jump out here and do the Uncle Mike, the real deal with the music and everything. My God, man, it's almost there. Look here, my neck is I am burnt out, man. I'm pushing it to the limit. If you're an ender, let me know you're an ender. Shout out to all my patrons. Y'all go check out the Patreon, man. We ready to start doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I'm about to start doing some music. I got the cameras and everything. I got the video, the music, the computers and everything all set up. We had to buy UPS. I put that up there. UPS, uninterrupted power supply. If you are trying to do music, and I know I'm talking to the wrong, my fans, my true enders, my true people that's listening right now, y'all ain't trying to do no music. Y'all just enjoy Uncle Mike and the content, and I thank y'all. I see y'all in the comments and everything. But if you got kids, you can't set up their profile page. You can't set up their stuff for them. They got to do it. You got to make them man up. They can talk all this stuff on a microphone, but they can't upload a daggone picture and a video and their music. Anyway, I'm going to get on up out of here, man. Hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. This is going to be a part 2 or part 3. We might do the 2-hour one together, but it's going to be a part. Another part. You know that part. Because we're going to continue this joint. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.